Hello and welcome to another BuildASoil YouTube episode. Today we've got a big one. It's season 7, episode 1, and we're kicking it off. And instead of me starting off in the grow tent like I might normally do, showing you the plan, I thought what better way than to bring the breeder in that actually made the seeds and discuss it. So before I get started, David, thanks for coming down today. Appreciate it. So quick story, he was at work doing some grout, also handling some stuff on the farm. I messaged him, he says, I can be there in 10. And he showed up right from work and ready to go. So I just appreciate his enthusiasm and willingness to do this, because when you're super busy and you really want to get the content going, sometimes timing's everything. So thank you. Let me start before, because I talk a lot and I want him to discuss the seeds so he can help me choose the packs we're going to run. Before I do that, I want to tell you about the seeds, but I also wanted to tell you how this started. So Dave's been coming here for a long time and been shopping here and has a beautiful grow and a mission and a passion connected to the plant. And I went over, if you saw the smoke report, I actually read his story about how he created the lines, looking for the Paonia purple paralyzer and then going and seeking out some Hindu Kush, making your full lines. And then this is a deviation from that in a different way, where what he did was, after all that work behind the scenes for years, knowing that he's breeding, he'd always bring down fire rosin, fire flowers, share them with all the homies here, all the crew. And so just like he's part of the family. And so that's part of why I wanted to bring him in, is show some love. He's local, he's a breeder. We all like his gear. We all like his finished flower and rosin. And so it's like, let's talk about that. But for me, he came and brought me a gift. He brought a bag for a giveaway, but we were having a company event where we're doing just a barbecue for employees and hanging out. And he brought me this stack of hard work of his. And I immediately started to look at the names and I was like, this is not the normal line. What is this? And he told me it's been years in the making. Yep. And then he just wanted to give it to me. That's how little he asked. And I believe in the law of reciprocity, and it's big for BuildASoil. What we do is we teach, and we hope that some of you do business with us. And if we do a good job, you come back. Well, he just gave me these, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, okay, I want to run every single one of these. And I started thinking, well, I've been talking a lot about popping lots of seeds like I would at home, where plant count's not a concern. And then I flipped to flower right away, so I can enjoy the variety of seeds, flavors, hunting. And also, you don't have to veg, and wasting a lot of electricity vegging one plant to be 4 feet wide is a huge waste. It lowers your annual yield. So to me, if you can get better quality consistently with little periodic trim work, that's way better on the dome when it's fresh and dried right and everything's perfect, versus overgrowing one cycle with tons of veg, lots of trim work, potentially not taking care of it as well. So I like this method. And so it just like came together when I got this bag. So he doesn't know it, but that's when I decided. And so looking through here, I want him to go through, but what I'm gonna do is just quickly read all the names, and then we're gonna start discussing it, because I'm only gonna pop, I believe we're gonna pop 7 packs. We may do 6, I have to do some math real quick. And these are all regular seeds. So you can get feminized seed. I prefer regular for a number of reasons, but that's not important. To veg quickly and flip to flower, you need to know their sex. So we're actually gonna use DNA testing from Farmer Freeman. So Farmer Freeman, thank you so much. I'm gonna reach out, get a logo, make sure we can share that when we actually do the DNA testing, and talk about your product, because tons of people use your services and they tell us how much it helps on our Instagram. And so I'm trying to keep it to the people that have been there with us and have created results for our customers. And so when these seeds are very small, we're gonna take a piece of the tissue, send it to the lab, and determine male or female. Then we can plant all the females. And behind you, if you look, before we get into the seeds, this is what the tent's gonna look like. So this is the 10 by 10. This whole front area where I walk in is gonna be empty so I can film. And the back 2 quadrants we're gonna fill. One 4x4 is gonna have 16 seeds in it, females, and it's gonna be irrigated by the same blue mat drip tape system that's installed right now off the pump. The next side is gonna be 16 individual 10 to 20 gallon containers. I'll probably do 15s and we'll decide soon. And that one's gonna be irrigated 3 different ways. We're gonna test out the Thirsty Earth Oyas, which I've been using behind the scenes and I really like, but they're gonna be different. They're all different. And I'm actually gonna use a moisture meter in every container. We'll see, it's considerable investment. I may do 1 row each, I'm not positive, but I wanna get data from each watering style according to 1 meter so that I can display the digital information to you. We're also gonna use blue mats. And then 4, we're gonna use a deep moisture meter from EcoWhit. And we're gonna use the WHIT flow to turn the same pump that's driving the 4x4. It's gonna drive this and open the valve, and it's gonna send pressure over to our drip rings. And we're gonna run the drip rings from blue mat on the EcoWhit. So we're combining and we're comparing, and I believe they will all work, but there's gonna be differences, and we're gonna share all those differences with you. And I may not get exact results because there's a variety of seeds here, but we're gonna see how well they all irrigate, and I'm really excited. So now, let's get to the fun part. I'm gonna read the genetics, and then I wanna hear from him, and we're gonna discuss it, because otherwise I'm gonna talk the whole time. So, Wes Slo Collective, we've got that Sour Bubble F3. This is the Double Dose Diesel F1 number 15, crossed with Top Dog Sour BC4. Some of you might notice some of these names are original from packs that he purchased and hunted, so I wanna hear that story. And there's a lot of work just to get the parental stock to germinate those seeds to get to these packs. Top Dog Sour Back Crust 4 F1. We've got Double OG Sour F4. We've got Double Dose Diesel F2, Karma's Sour BC4 F1. Sour Bubble F2 number 38, Double Dose Diesel F1. Now, if you're brand new and you're hearing me say these things, you may be like, what's F1? What's F2? What's BC this? We'll discuss it in a few minutes so that you get a clear lock on the terminology. There's a ton of confusion. Some people might see F2 and go, yeah, locked down, when there's gonna be the most variety ever. So we'll talk about that, okay? Piff Coast Sour F3, pretty excited about running that. Karma's Sour BC4 number 12 to Sour Bubble F2. Top Dog Sour BC4 number 1, Piff Coast Sour F2, and Alder Point Sour F2. So you'll notice this one's just an F2, so parental stock crossed. We'll discuss that, where some are selections he made, then crossed. So there's a lot of work in here. How are we gonna choose? My preference was tall versus short maybe, so we don't have variety in height, but why don't you just tell me the story? Like, why'd you even do this? How'd you start? How long did it take so far? I want everybody to know what we're doing for season 7.
Pretty much started, like you said, with the Peony Purple. Like, a part of that's gone that my dad, my uncles, like, were a part of. And then biggest thing to me has always been in breeding was just preservation. So cool. With this, it was finding, collecting, breeding, and now here we are. So like you said, a lot of this is just work off of the breeders. So shout out to all the breeders who put in all this work.
Yes. Now these are legendary breeders.
Yes.
So we're not like, he's not trying to take credit of the name and make, this is a hunt where if you're passionate and you know who these breeders are, it's like there's hundreds of dollars for one pack just to try what that breeder locked down from their entire life story to get those genetics. And a lot of that was through times where it was very illegal to have these plants, and there's lore and lineage behind them. And so he's gone and sought all the most sought after fuel, sour type varieties. So that's what I'm into. So you can begin to see why I'm so excited.
But like you said, so like no credit on my end. It was just, and then the rest of those are just pretty much just playing with morphology, genealogy, just seeing what I had left with pollen and what I had left on like the second or third pick females.
Cool.
Pretty much to see what opens up and what varieties come out of that, so we can find better fuels or better sours or diesels that we all like. You know, everybody likes their own, and trying to find that and get that in a cutting form usually is almost impossible. And then you always have the risk of like hop latent, then you have the infections that come along with bugs and infestations.
Yeah.
So I've always thought, you know, seed form's always been the best. So over the past 5, almost 6 years of hunting all the seed packs from all the breeders, and then just doing a giant hunt just to preserve these, so I know I have them, but not just me, but like the homies and everybody around here, so we can hunt them and then get to them and try and find what we all like.
Yep.
Like this was just for all of us, and then when Jeremy came to me with this, I was like, all right, so I know a lot of you guys will definitely want to be a part of this.
Yeah, there may not be enough for everyone,
No.
but this is a preservation project, so there'll be future work off of this. And so let's say you're like, I need those, I need all of them. He may not have them available. We'll talk about that. My goal is to maybe get some of those up on Living Soil Seeds, and either way, we'll tell you where you can go to his website. We don't want to bottleneck any of it. We just want to make sure that this is open source, you know where to go, where to get the goods, but then you know the man behind it and the story. And so not only is there family, multiple generations, the Peony Purple Paralyzer, a lot of you may not know that story, but you can kind of look it up. It's legend around here, and some people say it's not as good as it was, and it was the best thing there if there ever was. I've had a couple buddies that were connected through multiple generations share some old seeds with me, and I've had some fire out of them. So it's difficult for me to tell. It wasn't around when that was popular, but him knowing and the multiple generations and then that passion igniting the fire, that's what created the Nilla Kush and some of his others when you look at his whole list of genetics. But in these, what I was so passionate about was I was like, dude, I would like to go buy the Alder Point. That's like a $500 pack, $1,000 pack. I can't. So tell a little more story. So where'd you get the Alder Point sour?
Those were directly from Aficionado, like when we did the drop. And we bought 2 packs of those. We bought 2 packs of the Karma Sour, 2 packs of the Piff Coast, 2 of the...
Where'd the Piff Coast and Karma Sour come from?
The Karma Sour, those actually came from the UK from a buddy who had to go pick them up at the drop because they weren't available in the United States.
See how much work goes into this when you geek out? Like, I can't even begin to tell you. Now, this is why there's value to seeds in the sense that, like, I can't go fly there, pick up the thing, do all the stuff. And so I'm looking at this differently than I think a lot of people. Like, yeah, lots of packs, that's cool. But I'm like, oh my God, we're going to find my favorite BuildASoil cut out of here and work with it. Like, it's beginning of a project for me. So
that's a blessing.
Pretty cool. Piff Coast. Why? Everybody's heard the word Piff, right? Where'd you find the Piff Coast? What's that about?
So that's directly from Piff himself as well. When he did the Piff Coast Sours F2 drop, that was roughly 3, almost 4 years ago. So those instantly sold out when he actually made the drop. It was like within 30 minutes, everything was gone. So,
dude, you're there.
And I bought 2 packs of that just because I heard that Jape's Plant Speakers cut was in there. So we crossed that. And then there was the BX2, which I had heard had so much lore about it. And it was just the best fuel cut that anybody had ever had. So I was like, all right, I got to get those 2 just to be a part of it. So when I do it, we can really see what's inside the gene pool.
We're going to see this all. And of course, we won't be able to get, I might have to do more runs at home and search through more, but with like 70 something seeds, narrowing down to 30 something females, and I should be able to narrow something I like. And here's my goal. Once I find what's my favorite, I'm going to reach back out and see if I can get more packs of that particular. Then I'm going to go deeper there. Then I'll lock down the BuildASoil cut. It may or may not all be part of the YouTube series, but I want you to know what my goal is, what my intentions are. A lot of the cuts here or a lot of the varieties that I grew from Covert, one of them had the Motor Breath, and that was a Karma creation. And that name lingers in my mind because some of the best herb I've ever had has been somewhere in the line, like Karma's cut was used.
Yeah, and he produces serious heat when it comes to gas, chem, fuel, sour. Like, it's true. Like, everything that I've grown from him has always been great. And when it comes to even the terps, like, Karma's actually, in my packs, beat Top Dogs just by a slight bit because Karma's had, like, that fresh, almost like tennis ball fresh shoe smell with the underlying tones of, like, that skunkiness. But it was more of like a sweet fuel to it.
This is preference, too.
Yeah, but it's based off morphology, too. The Top Dog was, the colas were 16 to 18 inch bats versus Karmas were 12 to 14 inch, a little bit more Kush style, really more dense and squatty. So once again, preference on what you're growing or your grow style.
I like a stretchier plant, especially when I'm doing a run like this where I'm doing tighter plant count and they're going to flip the flower when they're short. The idea is with a Sea of Green, thanks Wolf Siegel, by the way. He wrote the article on Sea of Green and like claims ownership of that tech. And it's pretty cool to hear his story. But one of the things you're doing is you're just maximizing top colas and removing the side branches, kind of lollipopping. And I've heard a number of different commercial grows tell me that when they really bush plants out, they get better test numbers from like the apical, what was the main cola versus the lowers that stretched up. So the other thing, decreasing veg time, is that if we can get an even canopy, we're gonna get all A+ buds, all main colas across every plant, which is really exciting for trim work and everything. So that's part of why I like the method. But the challenge is in this, across this whole thing, we could have a variety of height. With the newer LEDs, I can stack on the ceiling, I can read par, and I can keep things in some sort of optimal zone, so I'm not too scared of it, especially when we flip early. But man, I don't wanna have like 5-footers and 1-footers. And when you flip really early into flower, that can happen. So if you happen to know that one just doesn't stretch, you're actually gonna ride out your veg time a little longer for that variety and flip and know there's no stretch. Versus when I'm trying to eliminate veg, I like a super stretcher so that I just put the clone in, give it a few days to acclimate, flip the flower, we're off and rolling. Now with videoing and everything, I'll probably end up vegging a week to 2 weeks, but with 32 in there, I may not have that time. Like I may just have to flip right away. So which ones can we arrange them by tallest and shortest, at least what your perception might be, and then we'll finish talking about them? This is a test to see if he even knows. I'm just kidding. You can tell, it's funny. Like there's times when you grow cuts and you didn't even have to label anything. You don't have to label your plants or the nug because you just know what it is when you've run it multiple times.
So I'm going to leave these 3 off to the side just because these ones will be a variety.
Variety,
because
that's
they're
fine.
all F2s.
Okay. So let's talk about that real quick. We're going to go more into this. I don't want to make it too long about genetics. If you guys like this, please comment. We'll do a genetic episode. I've got some books on breeding. We can get a few terms out and we can go down it. The first term I mentioned in the last one is a lot of people will call this a pheno hunt. I call it a geno hunt. I use the word pheno because then people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But behind the scenes, in here is DNA, and each seed might have slightly different DNA, just like when you have parents that make kids with red hair and brown hair and different colored eyes. Now, what you're seeing is DNA that is combined, but you're also seeing different recessives and dominants line up, and then you get different expression of those genetics. So when you're looking at crossing something, and you're talking about like an F1, usually what you get is pretty much a representation of like the male and the female 50-50. But when you go to F2, you unlock some recessives line up, and now you get 2 recessives, so they show where before the dominant from here, the dominant in there blocked most recessive. It's hard to explain, but when there's dominant in both parents and they line up, unless there was a missing dominance, you're all gonna see dominant characteristics. So it's pretty 50-50, or evenly between 3 types or whatever you see. And then F2 just opens up everything, and it can get different from there depending on how you pollinate. But now it matters if you cross back to the parents or keep going inbreeding from that generation, determines whether it's back cross, in cross, out cross, all these different terms. I find it's best to research the term at the time you're learning about it. It can just be confusing trying to learn it all at once. So the only reason I mention that is on top you'll see a back cross 4 to an F2. So you want to explain like this Top Dog Sour BC4 number 11. What did that mean to you to cross it to the F2?
So this, like these were, like I was talking about, these were all just like the 2nd or 3rd best females that I liked, and we still had some extra pollen back, and we were just playing with not only morphology, but also genealogy, like he's talking about. So
you chose number 11 though?
Yeah. So that
Okay.
was the number 11, and that's.
And was that him doing back cross on the Top Dog Sour? Was that his back cross that he made?
This is his original back cross number 4, 11 from the pack, the original pack.
So he took what he had probably as a clone only, and then he crossed it to something that he knows well. Then he was able to back cross that to his clone to eliminate the characteristics, because when you do that first cross, you get half and half. Then he eliminates the half he didn't want, keeps the half that's most like his clone, and that's the back cross. To be a back cross 4, narrowed, 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 probably locked in on exactly what the clone is producing, or at least his preferable characteristics.
Yep.
So that means you're getting like, that's your money's worth right there.
Yeah.
Then you're crossing to an F2, which is open exposure from all the different Pisco Sour. So we should have an amazing library of different genotypes in here.
Yeah. It was designed to be as open as possible, so we could seriously narrow down a unicorn that we all found and loved around here.
So then bringing it back to, instead of genotype, that phenotype word, let's say I lock down one keeper where the genetics, the genotype, is of one type, the one seed. That's the genotype versus the other DNA and the other seeds that have different recessives and dominants. And then what you can do is you can take that one, grow at the top of a mountain, grow it by the ocean, grow it cold, grow it hot. All those produce different phenotypic expression. And that's where the grower really does their thing, or where the grower can know that one cut acts different and they like to play with it. GMO, a lot of people like to flower cold because they just say it produces better. So those are more phenotypic expression. So what we're looking for is to lock down the genotype we want, then we can play from there. Let's make sure we cover it all. So we talked about the Top Dog Sour. We talked about the Piff Coast. What about Double Dose Diesel? Where's that come from?
So that actually comes directly from Stoney himself. So shout out Stoney, rest in peace. Like this literally 3 packs came from him 2 weeks before he was found dead in his house. So we got these. He actually even sent some other ones. So we popped 3 packs of these, and then we just decided to keep that lineage and that story of his alive for the snitch-free sourdy, you know. So shout out to him.
Dude, that's amazing. Some of this is not even duplicatable at this point, right? Because not everybody's around. So Double Dose Diesel. What about Double OG Sour? Where's that from?
So that is directly from Alien Genetics. This was actually my oldest sour that I've ever been able to get a hold of. This one's I've been holding for almost 7 years. So this is actually a pack from 2012 and sold out, couldn't find it, and then it actually came available in about 2015, 2016. So we bought 2 packs of those from Speakeasy Seed Bank. So, and then we popped those with the rest of the sours. And
so rad.
It was definitely a different one. It had the sour under characteristics, but the OG always shined from the Afghanistan side on all mine. Like it's just a really sweet cocoa diesel fuel was in there. So that's what comes in those. And those are all like pretty much uniform at this point because it's all been an F3 and an F4 worked. So you're going to find a lot of that throughout the line.
Stoked. Sour bubble. So a lot of people have mentioned, you know, I said I was going to do a diesel run, and somebody's like, well, the sour bubble's not diesel. So I've more accurately named it the fuel hunt, right? Because we're looking for sour, fuel, diesel, anything that represents that. And then I'm going to key on what I like the best. And so it's fun to hear him talk about like the tennis ball, new shoe, some of that along with it, where some people like, I've had people literally show me something that's like Jack Hare to me, like terpenylene, and be like, see, that's fuel. That's what skunk was meaning when he was talking about skunk. I'm like, I know there's an argument about sweet skunk and this, but that's not fuel. No. And so to me, fuel means something. To you, it means something, but I'm gonna be able to share what it means to me when we choose our cut. So sour bubble. Those of you that don't know, bog, when I was first started growing, bushy old grower, you kind of started learning about him. You're like, this guy's insane. What's going on here? But everybody was grown as genetics, and there's lots of lore there. So tell me about the sour bubble F3.
So those ones, we got those ones directly from Tony's Tortured Greens when he did a recreation off of bog seeds that he gave to him as a gift when they used to do work with each other way back in the day. And he narrowed the selection down. He even did a side-by-side between Bog's male that he used to create the F2s and then the F2s he made versus Bog's F1s. And they were a side-by-side, almost identical comparison. So I was like, all right, let's give him a shot and see. And it did. Like, you have the really rich sour smell in there, but you do have a little bit of those undersweetnesses that does come from the bubble gum. But I popped that one with the actual some sour bubble FS ones from CSI, and the females didn't come out that great, and I knew that diesel was a really tricky one in veg because of too much nitrogen sometimes can really stunt it. So I was like, all right, well, since we have this pollen, we'll make the F3s, and with the leftover, we'll hit some sours, and we'll see what kind of opens up in that line.
That's pretty cool.
So that's what we did with that.
And collecting all this pollen, all that's just, it's a lot of work, but the passion was there to make the project. Just to lock these down, box them up, count this, like everything involved in it, it just shows the level of passion. And to me, that's what this industry is about. When I found out that I could run a business doing this, and we started to have some bit of success, just dream come true, because I was talking online to a lot of like-minded people, but never in person. And now we're here next to each other. We would have never connected. This is like a connecting point locally here, and a lot of us have found each other, and we're able to share cuts, share seeds, share stories, share herb, and share our life. And that community is, I think, a big part of the BuildASoil way, and part of why you're gonna see us not try and take over. We're just gonna grow at the normal pace. We don't wanna grow too fast and ruin quality, and we wanna bring everyone along for the ride that deserves it. Featuring somebody that's a family man, that's been here for years, proven through the thick and thin, gonna be at the BuildASoil Living Days Cup, and has been part of everything we do. It just feels like we're doing the right thing. And so let's bring it back to the full conversation. Tall versus short. Can you separate them again, and then let's make a selection. I may not be able to choose. I may be able to move some short ones. So what do you think tallest are?
These are definitely going to be the tallest when it comes to anything top dog.
Perfect. So the top dog ones are going to be the tallest, which means that I might run these in the bed. But here's the problem. I've got to run to get 16. How many in there? 12?
14.
Okay, so 14. So 14, basically I need to run 2 packs would get me 28, and I'd likely get 16 females. Because typically, if you don't know, there's more females by percentage. That's just how nature works. Pollen can like one male can populate a lot, right? Just, but one woman can only make so many babies. Same with plants. So usually there's gonna be less male. They just throw their pollen everywhere. More females, that's kind of normal. But I'm scared to not have enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. I don't care if there's more in one pack versus the other, but it might be worthwhile to throw an extra pack on top of everything. So when we do DNA testing, we can for sure pick all the females and not be like one short. So I'll keep these 2 aside for potentially the 4x4 bed. Now, what are these? The shortest or the middle?
These are gonna be like anything ranging from mid to taller, phenotypical expressions.
Okay, and then this?
That's gonna be your shorters.
And then this?
And those are gonna
all
be,
over.
That's gonna be everywhere.
Who knows? Okay.
Yeah.
So I almost have no way of doing this, which means I probably shouldn't make that a deciding point. I probably should just focus on what genetics I want to run. And since I can't pop them all, maybe let's focus on getting a representation of a lot of them, since some of them are doubling up. Do you think it'd be more fun to run some of the F3s versus your cross, or what would you like to see out of here? What do you think our audience wants to see? You know what I'm after. I'm looking for a cut for myself.
Yeah.
So obviously the alder point, I'm gonna have to run that because I don't see another alder point here.
No.
So I'm gonna have to run alder point. There's no crosses with it, okay? Then I need to run, so from the Karmas, let's talk. What do we got? Karma. Okay, so we got Karma Sour BC4, Karma Sour BC4 12 times Sour Bubble. I'm gonna set both those aside because I really like Karmas. So there's 3 packs, and then I might go back. So let's see. You pick next. What do you wanna see me run?
Let's do an open one, just because
Okay.
that one's for Stony.
Double dose diesel F2 for Stony. All right, so then do we have a Piff Coast in here anywhere?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so there's Piff Coast, there's Top Dog Piff Coast, and so that would employ both at once, is by going Top Dog and Piff Coast.
Yeah.
But you said double, okay. Let's see, real quick, 6 times 14 is gonna be 60 and 24, so that's 74 seeds. Okay, we're gonna do 6. Like 7 is just pushing it, a little bit too much for my comfort zone. So that means I've got, no, so Top Dog and Piff Coast. So now we've got all of those. That's 5 packs. So now we have 1 more pack to choose out of all of these. I know you can't see what we're looking at really, but we got to make the selection.
It'd be probably out of those 3 for
Okay,
sure.
so narrowed it down. Sour, so Piff Coast Sour F3, Sour Bubble F3, or Top Dog Sour Backcross 4 F1.
This is where hunts get very hard.
I just want to pop them all.
That's where I get.
I know, I just, I got to pay for DNA testing and all that, or rather, we're lucky this time, they're going to hook it up. So thank you, Farmer Freeman. I mean, I didn't expect it. That we're sending a lot of seeds off, so he's really investing in this. So those of you watching, if you ever want to do this, support Farmer Freeman. We'll put a link in here. We'll talk about that.
If you need some seeds, I got you too.
Yeah, dude, and he's got seeds for sure. We're going to do a giveaway. So I want to talk about the giveaway. I should have done that like right up front.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe I'll put it in the text. But we're going to do a YouTube giveaway. So if you're watching, you made it this far, then you deserve to be a part of the giveaway.
Yeah.
Let's choose the seeds, and then let's use the leftover as part of the giveaway. So I think I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I got 5. We need a 6th one. Alder Point, Karma, Sour. And that's okay. Piff Coast, I've got a Piff Coast.
Just run that one
and
and
the Top
just
Dog. I just want to run the Top Dog.
Let's just do all those.
Top Dog Legend, DAWG, dog not dog. It's fun. There's arguments about everything. So we're not going to get into all the arguments. I just wanted him to explore with us some of the background, because I think without that, it's hard for you to see the value that I'm seeing the same way, and it's all relative, right? So these are the 4 packs. It's hard for me to show, but I will be listing them probably in writing, but let me hold them up to the camera so you can see what we're working with. Beautiful packs, by the way.
Thank you.
Like legendary status.
Shout out Premium Design Co.
Premium Design Co. It's got the, like, you can see if the seal's broken. It's got the push button slide out. It's got the glass vial. And if you're brand new to the game, you might be like, wow, all that for a pack of seeds. But when you know how much was put into this, this is the finished work of art that's going out. And when you put your heart and soul into something, it's like, why not really represent it the best way possible? And I just connect with that. And I know the kind of work it takes, because you could see our BuildASoil packages. We've got a lot of work to do. So just super impressed with that. Thank you. All right, so that means giveaway time. And then we'll finalize discussing a little bit about the grow, just to recap what we talked about. So we're gonna be growing Karma's Sour BC4 F1, Karma's Sour number 12, cross to the Sour Bubble F2, Alder Point Sour F2, Double Dose Diesel F2, Top Dog Sour BC4 number 11, cross to Piff Coast Sour F2, and Top Dog Sour BC4 F1. That is a tongue twister. Those are all gonna get popped, sent to the lab for DNA testing, and then we're gonna hit the ground running. So the next episodes you're gonna see, it's very important that we get in there and start dialing this in. And then we're gonna set up an area to pop seeds, set up a germination area, discuss exactly how to germinate very important seeds with our process so we can duplicate that, you can get good results. And then very quickly, I'll have to have the final environment set up, because when we pop the seeds and we send it off for DNA testing, I do not want to wait. The second we get the lab results back, I want those females in full amounts of soil so they can start to explode with growth, which means I'm gonna have to get irrigation dialed in, which means we're gonna have lots to talk about, because as I already mentioned, we're gonna be running blue mats, which are the industry standard. For those that really like to tinker and dial, these will water each plant according to their own need. For those that like super low tech, these have become popular. They're an Oya. Basically, it's a big ceramic carrot where this uses a tip and a sensor. This is like a cup. It just fills passively with water and leaks water out, or the plant roots can drink from it. And we're also gonna be using a drip ring for top watering, either firing from a blue mat or firing from an Eco-Wit. And we've got the Eco-Wit that goes in the top, and we've also got another one that goes deep down in the container. Because regardless, we'll put some of these across the board so we can compare what the blue mat's doing, what the Oyas are doing, what the Eco-Wits are doing. And then we can display that in some digital numbers so you can see the differences between the grows. And then of course, in the 4x4, we're gonna run the blue mat sensor, but it's gonna be hooked to drip tape. And that's gonna run the drip on the whole bed. And the reason why I wanna do that is we've talked a lot about hand watering. And if you're new, go to buildasoil.com. Under the educational link, there's the watering protocol, and that's the best hand watering protocol we've come up with. It's really helpful. But when I want to get in there and film and show morphology and show all the different genetics, I don't want to tinker with the watering. The other thing is having 4 all the way in the back of the tent with little access means that it could be kind of a jungle there. So it'll help me to have automated watering. And unlike last time where I didn't really trellis properly and everything got out of hand, we're gonna keep this dialed. And I'm gonna fully trellis the back early so it grows into it, which means that it's gonna limit my access. And limiting access using automated watering really makes a big difference. And then using the digital readings means that I'm comfortable knowing what the moisture is in the back on my phone without having to go feel or read the little meter down there. So that's what we're gonna do. And obviously the entire season, we're gonna document everything. The goal for this season is, instead of getting weird about like, here's electrical and all the stuff that we normally teach, we've done dozens of videos on every subject. We're gonna just really well document this geno hunt, this pheno hunt. I know we talked about that. I think that's it. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Like, nope. So if you're watching this and wondering, go back to season 6 and watch the smoke report. Part of while I was smoking, I was like, yo, we're gonna do this, okay? Let's do the giveaway then.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to talk about. What we're gonna do for the giveaway, lots of scammers, okay? So we're not gonna announce the winner in commenting. These people will create a BuildASoil lookalike account with a fake logo, and they're gonna tell you to call them on some phone number, and it's all scam. We don't do that, okay? What we're gonna do is I'm gonna record me announcing the winner on a YouTube short video. So you know it's me saying your YouTube name, no chance of getting scammed. And then we're never gonna charge you for shipping or anything like that. If we do a giveaway, it's a giveaway. The scam is they give you a ton and then charge you for shipping or half off on an upsell after a giveaway, and they get you. So most of us won't fall for that, but man, when you're brand new and you don't know how crazy a certain industry might be, these scammers are out there. So what we're gonna do is just in here to make it super easy, all right? We're gonna random number generate, go down through the comments, and if we see a comment that has the word Wes Slo, the breeder here. Now what that stands for is Wes Slo, West Slope, Colorado, West Slope, Best Slope.
Yep.
That's where we live, on the western side of Colorado instead of over in Denver. That's about 5-6 hours away. And so Wes Slo Collective, he's a local breeder out here. So you're gonna comment Wes Slo, dash, no dash, whatever. Just say Wes Slo. And then I want you to write why you want the seeds. I'm not gonna grade your answer. It's just that when I choose the winner, I'm gonna verify that they wrote Wes Slo and they gave a reason, and it's gonna be fun for me to understand the reason and read it out loud to the camera. The other thing that I want you to do is to win. If I find that you commented and I read your reason why and you're the winner, I need to see that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. So we're age restricted. You're not gonna get any notification of our videos unless you hit the subscribe button. So go ahead and do that now. And then go write a comment, write Wes Slo, write the reason why you want the seeds, and here's how it's gonna work. 3 winners from the YouTube. Now, if that's not enough for you, we're gonna do another one on social media. Follow us on Instagram, both Wes Slo and also BuildASoil, and then I'm gonna do an announcement in the next few days for a giveaway there. But for those of you watching YouTube, I'm gonna preserve these because the video may not drop for a little while, and we'll have these packs aside. The packs we didn't choose, the winner is gonna be able to choose from. Very rare packs that we were gonna hunt. And so the winner, the grand prize winner, is gonna get to choose 1 pack from any of these that we didn't choose. Now, instead of you trying to read it, I will go over the options with you when I tell you you're the winner, but it's from the hunt we were gonna do. You're gonna get 1 of those packs, which is very rare, and you'll get to choose. Then he brought a bag down of some swag, some stickers, and some more seeds. So the second and third prize winner are gonna win 1 pack each and some stickers. And when you win, we're just gonna pick a pack for you and send it to you, and it's gonna be fire. So 3 winners, 1 winner is gonna get to choose, 2 winners get 1 pack each for what we choose. Either way, it's all fire, and it's just gonna raise awareness for Wes Slo, highlight what we're doing with season 7 and the seed hunt, the fuel hunt that we're on. And I'm more excited about this season than any other season, partially because the seed hunt's breathing new life to me into like expectations. And when you first grow, like your first grow, I know most people are just like, oh my God, I pissed, like the hair, this, that, look at the odor. I'm just, every day you're in there experiencing something new. And so when you've grown 24/7, 365 for years and years and years and years, I'm not gonna say a little bit of that magic goes away, but it's not as intense. Yeah. And so when you do a new big seed run, it gets back up there. It gets really exciting to go see what's gonna come out of here. I love it. Okay, I gotta keep these separate. So these are over here. So anyways, join the giveaway. Wes Slo, comment why. We're gonna go through and pick. And what I'm gonna do is once the video drops, before the next video drops is when we're gonna choose the winner. So normally there's 1 or 2 videos a week, so it'll be a few days to a week of commenting before we lock down and do the winner. And since I'm not giving you an exact time frame, if you're seeing this now, you might as well just put the comment in, and then of course, if it's 5 years from now, we're already gonna have chosen the winner within a week of this video date dropping. So thank you so much. That's everything that I wanted to cover today. Dave, thank you so much for getting off work, coming down and sharing your story with us. For those of you that are following, as always, please, please, please like, subscribe, tell your friends about this. And if you haven't done so already, there's a number of you that are supporting this production. It's expensive, it takes lots of time, and you're doing that by way of our Patreon, going to our Discord and hanging out. We're gonna do a special thing for our Discord. So if you're not in, you should get in right now. We're gonna be talking about Discord the entire season 7, because we're gonna be spending more time in there than we ever have, creating some more fun activities. And one thing that we did in the past that worked really well is Kid Kaya, local breeder, he had enough seeds to send to every Discord member. Well, that's a lot of work. And I just briefly mentioned it, and he already went home, already did all the work, already bagged up all the seeds, and has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of packs ready for all of you that are in Discord for free. You just have to pay the shipping. And we're gonna do a massive geno hunt together through some of his fire genetics. And so that's coming down the pipes within the next 30 days. That way we can have it part of season 7. I will be announcing it on Discord. So if you're not already there, check out the Patreon. The Patreon unlocks access to the private Discord that nobody else can be a part of. So that's why that's there. If you've got questions, our staff can help you. Reach out, support@buildasoil.com. Otherwise, like, subscribe, tell your friends about this. And until next time, we'll see you on the next Build a Soil video.
Much love.